The last area of the thigh is the inner thigh. So the adductors. So you can see on my awesome pants how you can see the adductors here. You can see sartorius kind of will go across here doing this pivoting motion in the femur and the hip joint. And there's a lot of crisscrossing that happens along the inner thigh with the knee joints and the hip joints. So we're going to roll out the inner thighs, both sides. So let's begin. We're going to bring the foam roller kind of at an angle. And I might need to adjust this depending on how this is looking in the camera. Here we are. Here's this. And what we're going to do is you're going to froggy the leg over it. So I am technically face down. So you can lock the leg, the foot right here up against the roller if that's helpful to kind of keep it in place as you roll. And we're not going to actually roll. We're going to be taking the inner thigh section by section. Or if it's not enough pressure, you can just bring the foot off the roller. And then you can let the leg fully collapse into the foam roller. So go ahead and roll the foam roller as high up on the thigh as comfortable towards the hips. I'm going to not lock my foot. I'm going to rest my foot on the outside or it's going to be touching the floor here. And if you don't feel anything, roll forward a little bit. When I do that, my foot lifts up off of the floor. It doesn't touch the floor. If I roll back to where I was, my foot hits the floor. But if you roll forward a bit, that's more the inner thigh. If you're not feeling anything when you first set up, roll forward a little bit. So while we're hanging out here, what we're doing is our body weight, the leg on top of the foam roller, is basically like a gravity technique. So the weight of your thigh is pressing into and melting over the foam roller. Now when we're on the foam roller, and sometimes it can be a bit of discomfort, and definitely can cause a little bit of pain for sure, I'm not gonna lie. So that's why we have to breathe. So deep inhales through the nose, long exhales through the mouth. And that just alerts our brain that we're in control of what we're doing. We're in control of this discomfort, we're in control of this pain, and our breath is the way that we can communicate that to our body. Or breathing is the way that we can communicate to the brain that we are safe. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is we're going to roll to the center of the inner thigh. So just roll it down a little bit. If you don't feel anything, again, roll forward. That's when I definitely feel it. This is where it's the most sensitive for me personally. And the reason why we don't really roll the inner thigh is that it's actually quite sensitive and it can be a very tender area. So I like to take it section by section. So if you can, I like to hold this for about 30 seconds. If you can, do it a little bit more if it's comfortable for you. But no longer than 90 seconds on each side. All right, let's roll a little bit down. So now that we're going to have the roller be just above the knee on the inner thigh. And if you don't feel anything, again, try to roll forward a little bit. I promise you'll start feeling it. Getting closer to that sartorius muscle, the one that crosses the quad. So it comes up to the upper thigh and crosses to the inner knee. It's that soccer muscle. All right, just a few more breaths here, trying to let this last area on this inner thigh soften. We went on a walk today, so I think that's why this is a little extra tight. All right. So we always take our time getting off the foam roller. So take your time rolling off the roller, just rolling onto my side. Roll the roller out of the way, and then come to all fours. We're just going to switch sides. I'm not sure how good this angle is, but we'll see. But that's why I wanted to start on the first angle. So let's go ahead and come down to the other side, and we'll put the other leg on the foam roller, rolling up towards the inner pelvis as high as comfortable, and then rolling forward slightly if you do not feel the tension. You want to make sure that you're rolling the right area. And then noticing which side feels tighter. So now we can compare and contrast which side feels tighter. That actually is not quite, that is kind of showing what I'm doing. So for me, my right side is tighter. Awesome. So let's roll to the middle of our inner thigh. Wow, that is very tight. And I'm resting my leg and it's barely touching the floor. Try to drop your shoulders away from your ears and try and soften your feet and your toes. All right, last area on this side, rolling it closest to the knee, just above the knee, never ever rolling over the knee joint itself. And rolling forward slightly if you're just not feeling it. I definitely need to do that when I roll the inner thighs. And overall, my right side was definitely tighter. And as you roll continually or consistently, you will start to recognize patterns within your body. Alrighty, take your time rolling off the foam roller. I like to roll it out of the way and then come to all fours. And we're gonna rock our hips side to side. Roll it, or hips directly over the knees and then just swaying side to side. Okay, perfect. All right, so let me know how you felt after rolling the inner thigh. This is very, very helpful if you have to release any pain or discomfort that you may have in your lower back, because the inner thighs attach to the inner pelvis. So when they are tight, and they're tight for the majority of us, it can start playing kind of tug of war with the pelvis. So what that's doing when it's pulling on the inner pelvis is that it's pulling your pelvis forward. So it causes that tension in the lower back. So anyways, let me know what you think about this. Let me know how you feel after rolling the inner thighs, and I will see you in our next live. So thanks so much for taking the time to watch this live.